But generally speaking, there's a lot of science currently that is leading to the point that stress is inheritable. So one of the reasons that we like organic, one of the reasons that we might be trying to eat organic is because chemicals are inheritable, right? If herbicide is sprayed on a plant, you eat that plant, you eat that herbicide. If herbicide is sprayed on a plant that the cow then consumes, and then you eat that cow, you then eat that herbicide. Chemicals are inheritable. What we're beginning to realize is that the chemicals produced in the body being eaten, whether or not it's a plant or a mammal or a bird, that is to say poultry like chickens, turkeys, or ducks, those chemicals are also inheritable. Cortisol, the stress chemical, is a chemical, and it is also inheritable. And so the first thing that we have to realize is when you inherit glyphosate, the herbicide, that glyphosate, the herbicide, destroys your microbiome. It does a lot of things, but it kills the bacteria in your own body. We call glyphosate an herbicide. It's really a pesticide. It's going to kill the good bugs and the bad bugs in your gut. It's going to destroy a lot of the functioning of it. Cortisol, to the same degree, if you are eating an animal that has experienced high amounts of stress in its life, in its slaughtering, etc., if you're eating a plant that experiences high amounts of stress, you will inherit the cortisol or the plant-like equivalent, because cortisol isn't produced
Yeah.
by plants. Phytochemicals would be the equivalent, some certain phytochemicals, lectins and other things.
Hmm.
You are going to inherit that chemical. And so if you find yourself very stressed all of the time, there's it's hard to be so simple, but like there's a huge, chance that you're eating stressed out, animals or plants, and you're just inheriting their stress. That's actually a scientifically questioned reality now.
Yeah.
That's interesting, right? But what we have to also look at is the effect on stress in that food, in that meat, let's say. So there's things that we've been writing about here at Rabinia and in this book and such. In healthy, nutrient dense beef, and really any other pastured protein, goats, sheep, chickens, ducks, pigs, whatever. Let's look at beef for now. There's a antioxidant called beta carotene. Let's just call it B carotene from now on. This antioxidant, it helps with free radicals. It helps with protein digestion, nutrient availability. It does a lot of things in the human body when you consume it. B carotene is one of the main reasons that nutrient dense beef is nutrient dense at all. So if you're listening to this and you care about nutrient dense beef, just understand that although you probably don't you didn't know this before, but beta carotene is your friend. It's a huge component of that nutrient density in the beef. What you have to realize is, or we as a people have to start understanding, is that as the stress increases in that cow's life, the nutrient availability, what's called the bioavailability of B carotene, decreases. That is to say that if you are eating really stressed out animals, you're not getting the nutrient density that you think you are, right? It's entirely different than that. And so when you're looking at good, healthy local foods, one of the main things that we tell people to look for is look for happy cows. And I mean that. Like go visit the farm if you possibly can, look around and tell if those cows are happy. Because if
Mm.
they look stressed, not only are you going to inherit their stress, but you are going to lock up the nutrient density that you are paying for. You're never going to digest it. You're just going to excrete it out the back end and flush it down the loo or the toilet.
So do you
And
think
so happiness,
that is more relevant than organic?
yes, 100%. It's extremely more relevant because a lot of what the organic labels are looking for is a short timeline of non-herbicide, pesticide, or fungicide use. What I mean by that is, you could be eating an apple, or let's say an apple is fine. You might be eating an apple that hasn't seen, pesticide use in 3 years, but pesticides half-life in the soil is decades. So you're still eating an apple that grew in a pesticide environment,
Yeah.
right? The question now, so the organic standard, it's too short-sighted really to have any sort of meaningful impact. Now the happiness though it extends, and I know you're listening to this podcast and you're like, I really care about food, and this jackrabbit from Virginia is talking about happiness in food. And so like, what does that even mean? But happiness truly extends in the sense that in a truly happy environment, when you go there, if you as a human feel at peace, right? That environment, generally speaking, is going to be harnessing and caring for energetics, vitality, wave frequencies. They care about, happiness and joy and peace and long-term relationships. And you might not think farmers think about these things, but they do. because every single day, sun up to sundown, they have to be there, right? They have to be there, in the orchards, pruning the orchards, harvesting the orchards, caring for the trees, planting new trees, etc. And so your experience on a farm, to some degree, to some very large degree, is as important as the practices of that farm in your absence. If they were spraying glyphosate, you know about it. You would know about it and you would feel it. Um, that is not to say that glyphosate is good or bad. I personally detest glyphosate. I think glyphosate should be an absolute banned substance. It's absolutely unbelievable to me that like psilocybin, a mushroom that grows in cow manure, is bad, but glyphosate, something that kills all life around it, is not bad. Like this is a crazy reality. I don't really believe that this reality could exist, but it does. Um, and so anyways, the first and foremost, we have to start looking at happiness, right? What is nutrient density and how does it relate to happiness? Number two is buy organic if you possibly can. Yes, absolutely, right?
Mhm.
Like somebody trying to be certified organic or just organic in some sense, it's a huge step forward. And it also shows that they care, which might also be the first step to their happiness and to their food's happiness and to your happiness, because we're all connected. You can't separate these things.